Welcome to the Morning Swim Show for Tuesday, September 28th, 2010. I'm your host, Peter Bush, in the FINA Monitor today. We'll talk to Steve Foley. He's the High Performance Director for USA Diving. Steve joins us right now in the FINA Monitor from Indianapolis. Hey, Steve, welcome to the Morning Swim Show. How you doing?
Yeah, good morning, Peter. Very well, thank you.
You guys just had the Junior World Championships not far from us in Tucson. What'd you make of the talent you saw there?
Yeah, it was a very exciting event, and as you'd expect, the World Junior Championship, very, very high-quality diving. And, all the best nations were there. China, of course, sent a very, very strong team as always. And Germany, Russia, USA, and Mexico, Great Britain. So the who's who of diving in the junior world were all there.
So China is obviously the leader in worldwide diving, always have been. So we'll start a new thing here on the show every time we talk diving. You know, how close are we to closing the gap with China from an American standpoint?
Well, there's still a long way to go, but there are some great signs. Let's face it, we look to the future with our juniors. So one of the great aspects was we had 24 finalists, the same number as China. So that in itself was what you call a huge breakthrough. We had 12 boy finalists, they had 13, and we had 12 girl finalists, and they had 11. So being able to come away with the same number of finalists is a very important statistic. The next job is the conversion of medals.
Is it fair to say that Kristian, Ipsen, and Kassidy are America's two young bright stars right now?
Yes, certainly, no question. As you probably know, we won 9 medals, but those two won 3 each. So between them, they got 2/3 of our medals. So they are very, very talented and special divers, and they're already making the senior national team. I think that's a very important factor.
Will we see any of these guys, you think, in 2012 at the Olympics?
Yeah, there's a real big opportunity. Kristian Ipsen dived in the World Cup this year. He finished second with Troy Dumais in the synchronized 3-meter, and he was 6th individually. So he's already stepped up to the high caliber stage internationally. And Kassidy made the World Cup team in just the synchronized event, and she finished 5th with her partner. So all in all, they're already making that initial step 2 years out.
There's a lot of hype about this Thomas Daly from the UK. I mean, is he legit? I mean, could he be the world's best?
Well, he's certainly one of them. There's no disputing his amazing talent at such a young age. However, now that he's 16 and he's grown a couple of inches and his body's getting a little bigger, the dives are getting a little more difficult. As you know, it's a little easier when you're smaller, but as you get bigger, the speed of rotation slows down. So basically, he's going to be one of the great contenders in that men's platform event, along with the Chinese current Olympic champion Matthew Mitchum from Australia, and of course David Baddier from the USA, who just set a US record. So Daly's in a mix where 5 or 6 of them could win it on the day. Will London, the home ground advantage, make the difference? That'll be the question.
You're from Australia. You've got experience in this similar position in the UK. You've been here for a while now. I mean, how do those 3 countries differ in their approach to diving?
Well, I think the biggest thing, if you compare Australia and Britain with the USA, both those countries are government funded. So, they're funded to produce, if you like, just like China, Olympic medalists. That's the whole goal of the government funding, is to produce the world's best. And they form a structure, they provide a background program, full funded coaches, sports science, sports medicine. Obviously here a lot is relied on the USOC funding and of course private sponsorship. One of the advantages is certainly the college programs, the NCAA, where there is a diving coach paid for. There's a full-time program for the divers. Not always do our best divers get into the right colleges, so sometimes that needs to be worked out. But I think all in all, I would say the major difference is government funding. It's still what you'd call a slight hobby here. You do it in your spare time.
Do you try and persuade the young divers to go to certain colleges over others?
No, not really. I think it's an important thing that it's their decision. Sometimes they may want to do it due to the home environment. So, you know, if suddenly somebody on the West Coast was moving to the East Coast and they perhaps get homesick or struggle because they miss their family, then it might be more advantageous if they stay closer to home, even if perhaps the coach isn't quite world class, perhaps as the East Coast one. So I think it is a very personal decision, but the good thing from my perspective is there's so many great diving coaches in this country.
Well, we got 2 years to go before we see if all this hard work is paid off. Steve, thank you so much for joining us.
Pleasure, thank you.
All right, that's Steve Foley joining us in the FINA Monitor. That is it for today's show. I'm Peter Bush, reminding you to keep your head down at the finish.